When you look at emerging economies, those are the ones who are going to run with this. Africa is seeming ahead with this technology.
Imagine this family in the favela in Brazil. They're unbanked, but they have a smartphone. They can install a crypto wallet with ease because these people have internet. They can now be the recipients of international funds and digital assets.
Because as much as and as noble as the idea of decentralization is, the other thing is decentralization eventually doesn't become decentralized. If you look at what's happening in crypto at the moment, I'm going to say crypto because what's happening, all the big banks and everyone's coming in and they literally drop the price down, buy as much as possible. It's decentralized everybody, but they control the majority stake.
You know, when you're talking to people about this technology and emerging tech, you have to wonder, where are they coming from? Why is it not important to them? Because as Terry just succinctly said, when you look at emerging economies, those are the ones who are going to run with this. Africa is seeming ahead with this technology. You're looking at Nigeria, Kenya. Young people are not playing, and they have come out with some great innovations that are around fintech technology more so than blockchain. But still, there's some really great companies coming out of Africa, and they're all young people because they know what time it is and they're hungry and they want to change and they want transparency, and so they're open to utilizing blockchain technology to make that happen. And so I think what's key in regards to what Terry said, that's key to me, is, you know, when you're talking about this technology with others or when you're doing the research, make sure you're looking at it from all the different perspectives, because when you do that, you will understand why some people are for it and why others are not for it. And it also highlights another important part, and that element, similar to what panelists were saying before, whose voices are leading in this, who's creating. It's not just about utilizing the tools, it's also about being the creator of the tools. And one of the things that I love about blockchain technology and why I came into this space is about accessibility. There's no one getting in my way or saying that I can't be a part of this. So also Ninja was talking about cryptocurrency. I just want to make this super clear. Blockchain is not cryptocurrency, and cryptocurrency is not blockchain. But you need the technology in order for cryptocurrency to be enabled. So one of the things that I also just love about blockchain and crypto is the fact that it's an equalizer. So if I can only put in £1,000, but you can put in 10,000, and crypto goes up by 20%, we all benefit from that 20%. If it goes down by 20%, then all of us will have that negative impact. But there is no one saying, a middle person, a centralized figure, a gatekeeper saying, well, you don't earn 100,000 a year, therefore you can't get that 20%, which is what traditional finance looks and says. And when you break it down, really break it down and look at it from just that point of view, then you kind of start understanding the power of blockchain and how it is important for everyone, not just the homogenous few. So I wanted to just give my kind of thought on blockchain because I think it's really important. So think of blockchain technology as train tracks. For a train to move, it needs a track. If there's no tracks, the train can't move. So blockchain, think of blockchain as the technology, or the tracks as blockchain technology. And then you have the trains. And of course, we have different sorts of trains. You've got Renfe, you've got Eurostar, Southwestern, Thameslink. So think of these trains as the different blockchain protocols. So you've got Bitcoin, you've got Cardano, you've got Ethereum, you've got Polygon. And some of these blockchain platforms are level ones to Ethereum. But still, like, let's simplify it as train track and different trains. And then, of course, you've got the train stations, right? But then also within the trains, you've got these branded trains. They've got the different carriages. Inside the carriages, you may have some gold bars. You may have some pictures. Or you may even have some records. Think of the gold bars as cryptocurrency. So, of course, for the Bitcoin train, it would be Bitcoin, right? Or for the Ethereum train, it would be Ether. And then inside of it, you've got NFTs, right? So the pictures are the NFTs. And the music or the records are music NFTs, just to simplify it. And, of course, these NFTs and these cryptocurrencies are all digital assets. So these trains are carrying digital assets. So foundational level, it's blockchain, the tracks. The different protocols are the trains. And then within inside the carriages, you've got digital assets. And if you think of it that way as an ecosystem, you can start seeing how they start interacting with each other and how you can build on top of that ecosystem.
Could I just add with regards to payments? I just want to bring a practical application when it comes to blockchain and payments. Some of you may already know this, but hopefully I'm blessing people with new information. I don't want to assume people know things. Okay, so put your hands up if you have a crypto wallet. Who here has a crypto wallet? Amazing. So everyone else doesn't have a crypto wallet. There's what's called an exchange and a wallet, okay? So an exchange is a place where you buy and sell stocks or crypto. Let's just talk about crypto for a second. So typical exchanges, Coinbase, Binance, Revolut, where you can easily purchase crypto with your pound sterling, convert it from pounds into crypto. Essentially what these are centralized crypto banks. What everyone in this world has access to pretty much with a smartphone, because there's more people with smartphones than there are people who are banked. Just under 2 billion people in this world are unbanked. Of which of those 1.6 billion, over 50% have at least a cheap Android smartphone. Now, anyone who doesn't have a crypto wallet, I would like you to get one. You can use MetaMask or Trust Wallet. It might be a little bit complicated. First, you're like, what is this? But a few YouTube videos, I'm sure everyone's smart enough. Install the wallet either as a Google Chrome extension on your phone. You have a seed phrase, a private key, and a password. You must keep these safe because there is no customer service. You lose your password for Coinbase, you can email them. You lose your password for Revolut, Binance, you can email them. You can't email these wallets. Now, let me bring it to what's practical. Imagine you are a 14-year-old in the favela in Brazil, or you're 11 years old in a poor village in Nigeria, and you and your family, being 5 people, there's 2 smartphones, 2 Androids. That's a very common situation. I know this because I'm from a second world country, and I've visited many second and third world countries myself. Imagine this family in the favela in Brazil. They're unbanked, but they have a smartphone. They can install a crypto wallet with ease because these people have internet. They can now be the recipients of international funds and digital assets. Now, people like to say, oh, well, crypto goes up and down. Again, I don't want to make this too much about investing, but we have what's called stable coins in crypto, which is US dollar equivalent. So that removes that argument of crypto is volatile. So imagine this family in the favela in Brazil, or this family in Nigeria, or whatever. Again, they're unbanked, they have internet, and they've got a smartphone. Guess what the kid can do? Release NFTs. Guess what the teenager can do? Learn to code. Because I believe, and I won't go too much into the metaverse, that this world is more digital than it is physical. This world, as we live it, even though we're in this room, most of what we live is in our minds. And I feel blockchain technology, along with conjunction with other technologies such as the metaverse and AI, etc., which I won't go too into, it opens up that international portal. I hope somebody's taken away something from that.
Great, thank you so much. I would like Terry to just talk about, because, you know, like I said before, blockchain is not crypto. And when I talk about blockchain, I like to focus more on the non-crypto, non-financial element of blockchain. So I'd really love for you to talk more about your project and how you're using blockchain in the agricultural and supply chain.
Firstly, as you're talking about the wallet thing, I was looking at your wallet there. Your wallet.
Oh,
your
physical wallet.
Your physical wallet. Just quickly pin on that. If you lose that wallet now, any cash that's in the wallet, not the cards, any cash that's in the wallet is gone forever. That's how you need to see crypto wallets. A crypto wallet is like your physical wallet with cash, not the cards, because the cards you can get replaced, but the cash. If you have a physical wallet and there's £1,000 in that wallet and you lose that wallet, there's not too many good Samaritans that will find someone and hand it in. Someone needs to pay bills. It's the same with your crypto wallet. So if you lose the key to your crypto wallet, and you lose your backup access to it, it's gone forever. There are a lot of people who are scrambling for their early Bitcoin wallets, and that's it. They've lost millions because at the time when it started, it wasn't worth much. I didn't want to dive too much in that, but I just wanted to emphasize on how the wallets work. But back to the project that we're doing here. So Inventory Club, like I said, we focus on African agriculture. Now, I think, put things into context a bit more, Africa's got 65% of the world's arable land. 65%, which means that 35% is shared between the rest of the world. Let's put it into context. 65% is how much arable land is in Africa, but yet Africa imports $65 billion worth of food every year. I think it's about even 80 billion now, and it's continuing to increase. Africa's got 100 million smallholder farmers. Africa has sun, land, it has a workforce of about 70% of the population working in agriculture, yet it produces less yield per hectare. So everyone else in the world is more or less in the third and fourth agricultural revolution. Africa is in this first agricultural revolution. I'm just saying these things to the context. I think they're saying that by 2050, we're going to have a food insecurity issue, and that's because there's going to be more human beings on the earth than there are now. We're not fixing the food problem. Instead, we're making fake food. In America, they're making fake food. And you've got to ask yourself, why make fake food when there are 100 million farmers ready to work, 60% of our population ready to work, 65% of the world's arable land? You've got to ask these questions and say, why not just put the money in the place that can become the breadbasket? I'll let everyone else decide the answer themselves. So what we decided to do is say, okay, look, and what I said earlier on about you don't know where the money goes. If you put it somewhere, there's no transparency, there's no anything else like so. So what we're doing with Inventory Club is we are essentially working with landowners and farmers to create food security, to digitize Africa's agricultural value chain so that we know that what is in Uganda, what's in South Africa, what's in Namibia, what's in Nigeria. We have food problems that we shouldn't have. They lose about 30 to 50% of what's grown every harvest. And I'm giving all of these things as context to say, okay, now what's missing? Data collection and data management. That's the first thing that's all missing. Now we're looking at supply chain, moving things from A to B. What's happening there? That's also a problem. We've got bad actors and bad players happening there. We've also got access to market issues. Access to market being a farmer can grow mangoes, do a fantastic job and break their back, and at harvest, instead of getting £1 per mango, they might get 10 pence or 5 pence per mango. Why? Because of the guys in the middle, the traders. I have nothing against middlemen. The guys in the middle, their job is to what? Buy low, sell high. That's their job. Now, we just need to make sure that the low price is high enough for the farmers to get what they need. I like to give the context because the context is what shows what's possible when you start using this technology. So I'm trying to paint this picture to say, look, we have this massive problem, but it doesn't need to be so big. And there's a way for everyone to participate in the solution. Now, what we did with Inventory Club is we said, okay, well, we have a farming issue. Oh, that's one thing. Now, who here has participated in a partner? Who here knows what a partner is? Who here knows what a susu is? Contributions. Bottom line is community saving pots. The official name is Rotating Savings Credit and the Credit Associate. My brain's gone blank. Anyway, the bottom line is we take a system that has existed since the beginning of time where people can collectively contribute to a pool of money. And normally what happens is now it comes out every month, this person's going to get it and that person's getting it and that person gets it. So how about we take that same concept and we say, look, you guys contribute your money into this pool and we will use this money and put it into agriculture because there's a trade finance deficit of $65 billion. In that same pool at Rosker's, they do $500 million every year. At the moment, the market cap of crypto is 1 trillion, thereabouts. Whether it goes up or down, 1 trillion. But how much of that actually goes to people in emerging economies to transform what's happening on ground?
Very little.
Right? I'm not an advocate for emerging economies participating in crypto and blockchain for just trading purposes. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's about how do we utilize this technology to improve what's on ground? Because if you look on crypto, what happens is when you go online, you see people Lambo, when Lambo, when? Because you're in Moon. But a lot of these people are generally people who are in Western society. They don't have to build this. Everything's built. So what we need is we just need money to enjoy what's been built. Whereas in the emerging economies, we need money to build. So we're using blockchain technology and Web3 to build. When we invite people to participate and join us, it's to build. We have a food insecurity issue looming by 2050, and people think, it's not going to affect me, I'm in London. I'll say, that's fine, okay. Is the price of bread and milk the same as it was during the pandemic or prior to that? Everyone in this room by 2050 is probably going to be food poor because the milk that costs £1 might cost 5 or 10 amongst everything else that's happening. How do we keep the food prices lower? Produce more food. How do we produce more food? Invest into food production. We lose 30 to 50% of what's grown every harvest in Africa across the board. How do you stop that? Semi-processed preservation, things like that. But the money is not going into the places that it needs to go into. So the first part is we need to put money in, but that's not enough because we need to be able to see where is it going. I'm not on ground. And that's where blockchain comes into place to say, well, look, you put in $1 million and the million's been distributed to here. And this is what it's producing for us, how it's sending funds back to us. So whilst we don't focus on the financial element of what's happening, it's a very important part because we need to bring finances in so we can do some stuff on ground and then people can, essentially get royalties. So we've essentially merged two models together. We call them Stokvels because, yes, I'm born and raised here, but last year we decided to go to South Africa to kickstart, move our business to South Africa. When we moved our business to South Africa, we initially went there, we called our things cooperatives. In South Africa, they call it Stokvels. The rotating savings and credit associations are called Stokvels. So we said, well, anytime you're going to do a business, you need to do a business for the local people. And if you want to transport that local thing elsewhere, then you teach everybody else what that is, but you need to know where you're started. So we took the concept of Stokvels and then we took the concept of royalty financing and we applied that to agriculture. So now what we've done is we've built like 6 different Stokvels, which are essentially going to be decentralized. Now, the interesting thing about decentralization is there ever a centralized party to begin with? I believe there should be just in terms of getting things up and running. And at some point, you say we relinquish control. You guys can run this thing, but there's still elements that require a group of people to be in charge of pushing it forward because as much as and as noble as the idea of decentralization is, the other thing is decentralization eventually doesn't become decentralized. If you look at what's happening in crypto at the moment, I'm going to say crypto because what's happening, all the big banks and everyone's coming in and they literally drop the price down, buy as much as possible. It's decentralized everybody, but they control the majority stake. So it's very important for everybody in this room to participate because when you don't participate, it's still decentralized on the surface of things, but it's not decentralized by the ownership. So everyone needs to participate to own, and which is what we're doing with African agriculture. The other thing that we're doing with it is saying, hey, what's been happening to emerging economies? They've been exploited. How? Because they say, okay, you want money? No problem. We'll give you this money, but you need to give us 70% of your land, of your business. I just need the money so I can build it. You don't do that to everybody else because the whole world works on finance, trade finance. So if the whole world is working on trade finance, the bank, they provide finance to people. They don't own the stuff. They just provide finance. We're going to give you some money and we're going to charge you some interest. You can give us some money back.
Can I just make a quick commentary on ownership? The amazing thing is with blockchain technology is through NFTs, non-fungible tokens, basically unique digital assets, certifiable in the blockchain. And again, you can keep these digital assets and cryptocurrencies in your decentralized wallet. Just like you said with regards to the ownership, quite a lot of experience in speaking to people in finance, not actually working in traditional finance, but VCs or investment firms or angels will invest in, say, a startup or any company, and they will say, okay, I'm gonna give you $1 million, but I want 60%. With blockchain technology, we could literally tokenize. It sounds overly simple, but we could tokenize, let's say, a farm. somewhere in Africa and split it in, let's say, 1,000 NFTs and sell that to people of African diaspora.
It doesn't even have to be NFTs. And I think just to bring it back, because I think when you bring all these news, especially to people who are new to this space, it can be quite overwhelming. So I just want to go back to Terry. What you've described, what you're doing, which is kudos. I mean, it's excellent. I've known Terry for a while, for at least 4 or 5 years even, maybe. Yeah. And what you've just talked about from where you was when we first is just absolutely amazing. So I think, you know, what he has just explained is a perfect case study of investing in blockchain without it having to be crypto related. He's also talking about social impact, making a difference, and also who has access, who can get involved in this without there being some sort of, you're not earning this amount, you're not qualified to invest. And so for me, this is what I look at when I talk about blockchain. This is what we all need to look at when we think about blockchain, not just the cryptocurrency element. And then touching on what Ninja just pointed out, tokenization or ownership. And so when you think about Web 1 was all about gaining information. We went on to the internet to find out information. And then Web 2, what did we do? We started creating. So we could create our own blog post or our own websites, our YouTube channels, etc., etc. And of course, we were using other people's platforms to do that. Now with Web 3, what we have the opportunity to do is to utilize the emerging tech, AR, AI, blockchain technology, because it's been touched upon, everything's recorded, the data is recorded, so we know who owns what. And that was a key thing that you said about we all need to be involved so we can all have ownership. But with Web3, we're now moving into an ownership economy. So really the question is, do you just want to be a user or do you want to be an owner? And how do you educate yourself and educate the people around you so that you can be part of the value system, you know? And how do we support each other collectively, as Terry was talking about, so that we can make that impact? And so for me, blockchain technology is not that difficult. I think the actual coding and the technology, yes, it's convoluted, it goes over my head, but it's about the mission and the vision and the sort of egalitarian ideology around blockchain technology. And this is something that I think we all, particularly as people of the diaspora, should be thinking about and need to understand and make sure that our young people are understanding this as well.
Can I ask a quick question to the audience as well? Does everyone have a smartphone here? More or less, right? Do we know how this thing works? I'm in technology, I don't, but I know what I can do with it. So when we're looking at blockchain and emerging technologies, they don't want to know technically how it works. They want to know, how does it work for me? What can I do? And that's the questions you need to ask. What can I do with it? Everything you can do with Web 2 is what you can do with it. Any app you've thought about in your head, you can build it on Web 3 and blockchain, right? And you can invite a community to join you in that building process, to have some sort of ownership, tokenization, as what Ninja was saying here. When we are building things, we're building things for people who are like us in mind, because people build for an audience. They build for a group of people. And when you're building for a group of people, you're thinking, what do they need? How will this work for them? What's the barriers to entry? How low does it need to be? So for instance, with the project that we're doing, I've looked at it at, well, I want people on the continent to be able to participate. When we first went there, I was thinking, yeah, you know, I'm going to bring all the money from the UK and dump it into African agriculture. I said, that's a bad idea. I'll explain to you why it's a bad idea. Over here, what happens is this. Imagine we've got a project. We put £1 million into this project. So everyone in this room puts £1 million into the project. The project generates 20 million return. 50% goes to the farmers. So the farmers only have to pay their staff what they normally pay them, and the rest of the profit sits with them. It's capitalism, it's how business works. The other 50% comes back here. So we have 10 million coming back here. That means the people in that country do not get a single penny from that 10 million. So now that means that when you do foreign investment into places, the money leaves the country, goes in, it does what it needs to do, but it leaves. So the economy is actually not that much better off in terms of the people, but it's something's been built there. So then we get to say, okay, well, we need to make it possible for the person who's got the least amount of money to be able to participate. Because this is what happens when we build solutions. We build solutions from experience. I didn't come from a silver spoon in my mouth. I didn't come from loads of stuff, but I never wanted for anything. But I know what it's like to be in that. So when you're building, you build these things in mind. So what did we do? We said, okay, well, it's a minimum of £5 to participate in our agriculture projects. And it's not monthly, as and when you can. Now it means that everyone can participate as and whenever they want to participate, because we're focused on building generational wealth and we're building for 5 generations. It starts with the smallest seed.
Wait, I can't skip that. Did you just say anyone can participate for £5?
£5, anyone.
Where do I send my money? Do you accept crypto?
That's exactly what we accept. I mean, the point I'm trying to emphasize is that I'm talking about what I'm doing, but what I'm doing, everyone here has an idea of something. You can do your ideas. Do you understand? It's not about changing the world, but yeah.
I think I would like for everybody in this room to take away is that everybody looks at AI and it is super exciting. And AI works really well with blockchain because blockchain is a validator as well. And so when they were talking about the fake positives, how do you know what's fake positive or what the provenance of that information or that data was used for AI? You can use blockchain technology to validate the provenance of the information that is being used for AI or that's been created via AI. There's different ways that blockchain and AI marries really, really well. But what I want to say is that a lot of people think AI is exciting, and it is. But there's a lot of ethics that needs to be created around it because, there's areas, lots of great areas. But I personally think blockchain is the more powerful technology because of what it stands for and what it can do and how it works with the other emerging techs, AR, VR. And so when you're thinking about the excitement of AI, just take a step back and think about how blockchain can add or how it can add more power to whatever it is that you're creating, especially if it's something that is generational and has a social impact to it.